Hey friends, and welcome back to Sewing from Scratch. Today we are going over how to hack a pants pattern into a shorts pattern, and it's not as straightforward or cut and dried, if you will, as you might think. And at the end I'm even going to show you how to hack it again to make a cuff like I did in my Nolan shorts hack. So let's get into it. Okay, so to start, I think I'm gonna go through a little bit of the anatomy of a pants pattern so we can kind of determine why you can't just chop off the pants wherever you want and hem them like that. So you'll see here in the pattern that I'm using that the bottom part of the pant flares out like this. Now that is to allow for hemming. So when we fold up this at this line here, which is the hem line, you can see that this mirrors this. So you would have this little where it notches in here, that'll be your small fold line. I would assume that's about 1/4 inch, so you'll fold that, iron it, then you fold the rest up here, and this line will mimic this line and they will lay nicely along and you can hem. If you were to just chop it off, let's say for example here, this is where a different view is added and then you would have a cuff. But if you were to just chop it off here and fold it up, you can see that if you were to fold it, this line, when it folds, for example here, or if you were to fold it there, then this part is going to be much, much narrower when it comes up going this way now, and it'll be smaller than the actual finished leg. So to hem that is basically impossible because you're going to have frayed edges, and if you're using knits it's going to be all wonky because you're going to be trying to stretch it and it's just not going to line up properly. So you need to mirror the top part to the bottom part, which I'm going to call the hem allowance, just like is done here on the Arden pants pattern. I'm going to be following the Helen's Closet blog post on this exact same method. I have done this on another pair of pants, the Nolan pants. We'll get into that in a little bit because I'll show you how to add a cuff if you wanted. So what I'm going to do is first measure down from my inseam how long I want my shorts to be. You can use a pair of shorts you already have, or just measure from your crotch on your leg to see how long you want it. So that is why we need to alter it, and we can't just chop it off here and fold it up, because you can see these would just not line up properly the way that we need them to when we're hemming. Like I did with my Feel Pretty shorts, if you watched my July makes video, you will have seen that I shortened those. Okay, so like I mentioned, you want to measure down from the crotch to as long as you want your inseam to be. I am using 4 3/4 inches. Just make sure that you're measuring down from where after the seam allowance is going to be to get the most accurate inseam. Next, you're going to draw a line perpendicular to the grain line at that inseam mark. If you don't have the grain line marked or you're having troubles with this, you can measure straight off of the bottom hem of your pants pattern. I'm finding this easier to trace it on to another piece of paper so that I can keep my original pants pattern intact. You obviously wouldn't have to do this. If you don't want to trace this, you can cut right across at that line you just made and then tape some additional paper onto that at the bottom. So I'm just adding all necessary pieces on here because this is going to now be my new pattern piece. So once you have your line drawn there, you need to decide on how deep of a hem you want. The numbers that I'm actually doing here, I did something wrong. So I'm going to tell you numbers that are a little different from what I did. You want the top parallel line to be same amount as your hem allowance, for example 1.25 inches, and then the line under that you want to be 1/4 inch less than that. So in this example, that very bottom line is where we want to fold for our hem. The next line is going to be at 1 inch, and then the top line there is at 1 1/4 inch, which is how big of a hem we're doing. Now you're going to find where those lines you just drew intersect with the inseam and the outseam and draw perpendicular lines straight down like I'm doing here. You're going to do that on the inseam and on the outseam. So once you have that done on the inseam and outseam, you can go ahead and draw a line. Now you're going to go your hem allowance, the same amount as your hem allowance, so again 1.25 inches down from that, and then draw that nice parallel line there. And then after that, you're going to do a line that is 1/4 inch past that. So again, in this example, 1.5 inches. So you're now going to end up with something that looks like 5 lines. The very middle one is where the fold of your hem is going to end up, so your total length. And then the 2 above that are, the top one is your hem allowance amount. The second one there is your hem allowance amount minus 1/4 inch. Then the line underneath your hem fold line is your hem allowance, and then you're going to go 1/4 inch under that, which is where you will fold first, a nice little 1/4 inch fold before you do the full hem fold. So now I kind of botched this, but what you're going to do now is draw a line from that hem fold line where you want the finished hem to be all the way out to that far parallel line where it meets the line that we made 1.25 inches down from the hem fold line. And then you're going to go back in towards the pattern to the second line that was 1/4 inch smaller, so it looks something like a zigzag. And repeat the same on the other side and then cut it out. And then once you have it cut out, you can see here that if you fold it up that little bit and then up again, that your lines are going to line up nicely and you will have a nice finished hem that is not longer or shorter than you need it to be. And here is how my Arden shorts turned out. I think next time I will go one size up. I did the 10 and I probably should have done the 12. I also didn't have big enough elastic, so I've got a little bit of a paper bag effect going on there because I made a channel for my smaller elastic. If you wanted to make this a cuff short, if you wanted to do this on another shorts pattern like I did on the Seamwork Nolans, you would just cut off at your fold hem line and then add seam allowance to both the shorts and that cuff piece, and voila, you're done. Adds a nice little different touch. So thank you again so much for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel because it really helps me out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!